afternoon, everybody. This is Dronendijk, Planner 3 with the Planning and Building Department, calling the April 10th, 2024 Archaeological Commission meeting to order at 2:03 p.m. Before we begin the meeting, we want to acknowledge with respect the indigenous peoples on whose ancestral lands we hold this Archaeological Commission meeting and whose historical relationships with that land continue to this day. Item number 1 is a roll call. Planning and Building Services is present. Museum Representative Commissioner Dick.
Present.
Archaeologist Representative Commissioner Cole.
Present.
Native American Representative Lois Lockhart.
I'm here.
And Alternative Representative Nancy Johnson.
Present.
Everybody is in attendance. Item 2 is the Archaeological Commission Administration. The applications listed below will be reviewed by the Archaeological Commission. You are invited to view the meeting on YouTube and provide any information pertinent to these applications. If you have photographs of the site, you are encouraged to email them to the above email address by 2 p.m. on April 10th, 2024. Item 3 is a survey required. The first item is 3A, Coastal Development Permit 2018-0005. The date filed for the application was February 22nd, 2018. The owner applicant is Clifton May and Greg and Markate Warner. This is a standard coastal development permit for after-the-fact grading and tree removal. There is an additional request to construct one 1,250 square foot single-family residence, one 950 square foot accessory dwelling unit, one 1,100 square foot barn, drill for water, drill for a water well, and install a septic system and add one 960 square foot agricultural equipment storage shed. The applicant also requests the temporary use of a trailer coach for occupancy while constructing dwellings per Mendocino County Code 20.460.035C. The location is in the coastal zone 5 ± miles northeast of Gualala Town Center and 1.6 ± miles northeast of State Route 1 and its intersection with Fish Rock Road, County Road 122, located at 44948 Fish Rock Road, Gualala, APN 143-040-02. The staff planner is Shelby Miller. And do we have any members of the public wishing to comment on this item?
I have a question. I'm not quite sure what after the fact grading and tree removal. I mean, I get the impression it's empty land now and they want to grade it and build buildings.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'm just not sure. After the fact sounds like there's something already there and now they want to kind of landscape it. But it sounds like they want to actually do constructions.
yeah, it's all after the fact, meaning that they've already done that portion of the.
So they've already built the single family residence and built the accessory dwelling and the barn.
It's saying that the grading and tree removal was done after a fact, but they now they're requesting to be able to do the single family residence.
So they've already done a lot of grading and tree removal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they've already gone in and flattened everything and now they want to build.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And there's nobody from the public wishing to comment.
No member from the public to comment.
I don't see Shelby Miller in attendance.
Oh, she's up at the top corner.
Oh, there she is. Do you have anything that you would like to say before the commission considers this item, Shelby?
Sure. So I've been on site twice for this project. I would say, yeah, so the grading happened in 2016, I would say, or 2017. And it was a previous owner that graded and took down a lot of trees. And I'm just saying in terms of the grading, it was years ago, and of course now that they had to get a CDP to correct the grading, because it was a code case, a code violation. Now since they're doing the CDP, so they're trying to do, a single family residence and an accessory dwelling unit and then some barn, and some other accessory structures. I am open for comments, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Is the owner, applicant, or agent present?
I don't think so.
No one from the applicant or.
Okay. I took some notes and just acknowledged that the Northwest Information Center at Sonoma State did recommend to have a study done, and staff would agree. It seems like there'd be lots of ground disturbance with all this construction. So I'll bring it back to the commission and you can discuss it and we'll move along from there. If anybody has any comments.
Well, archaeologist here, I would recommend a survey. They've exposed mineral soil, so we'll be able to see readily if anything's there or not. And if they have disturbed an archaeological site, we can fine them $500.
Is that the penalty for bulldozing archaeological?
Knowingly or unknowingly, according to our ordinance. And then they're going to do a septic system, so there's a lot of ground disturbance still to come. And so I will go with Northwest Information Center's recommendation.
Second. That's a motion.
Is that a motion, Commissioner Cole?
Oh, you want me to make a motion? Case CDP 2018-0005. Recommend a survey in accordance with Northwest Information Center and discovery clause, and yeah.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Okay, so then we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Dick?
Aye.
Commissioner Cole?
Aye.
Commissioner Lockhart?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
And staff would say yes as well. Okay, so now we'll move on to 3D, which is a conditional certificate of compliance 2023-0008. The date filed for this application was 11/15/2023. The owner applicant is Robert Evans III. The agent is Stephen Potter. This application is for legalization of a land division violation of 2 parcels in the Compshe area. Both parcels meet zoning and density requirements and are developed with single-family dwellings and accessory structures. The applicants request issuance of conditional certificates of compliance in order to provide requirements to legalize the violation and keep the parcels separate. The location of the project is in the community of Compshe on the south side of Compshe-Ukiah Road, County Road 223.28 plus minus miles west of its intersection with excuse me, Flynn Creek Road, County Road 135, at 31-351 and 31-365 Compshe-Ukiah Road, Compshe. Accessory parcel number is 125-080-37 and 125-080-38. The staff planner is Ross Ford, and he is in attendance. And is there any public comments about this project?
No members of the public for public comment.
Okay, and do you have anything to add, Russ?
I think that pretty much covered it. This is a little bit of a weird one, because we don't get a lot of conditional CCs coming this way. So basically what happened is the property owners had two separate tax numbers that they had assumed were separate legal parcels and had treated it that way for 40 years. They were getting their estate ready, and they came to the realization that they were not separate legal parcels, even though that they had transferred one of them separately to their son. So to avoid having to undo the transfer and treat them all as one parcel, they applied for conditional CCs, which is a path in the MAP Act, which allows for the remedy of illegal land division. So as part of the staff report, the staff was just kind of looking for some thoughts from the Art Commission about whether or not a survey may be required. You know, as noted, both parcels are developed, have been so for 40 years. There is no new development proposed. But NWIC, I believe, did recommend a survey.
That's correct, yeah, it's my notes. NIC recommends a survey be conducted.
So the Albion River runs right through this with a bridge over it, right? So that would make it, and it looks pretty flat, so that would make it very high interest as an archaeologist.
Pretty sensitive area, and anytime you have the valleys like that with the river, you're gonna have sites all over the place. So I recommend a survey.
I have a question. So this is a chance for us to get the land surveyed, but there's not going to be any additional construction or anything right now, right? This is really just sort of a lot line adjustment in that sense, you know.
So nothing would actually be changing. So they've applied for two separate certificates of compliance, and all that would mean is that the county would recognize these officially as two separate lots. They would be entitled to build an accessory dwelling unit on each parcel if this happens, but as of right now, they don't have any other development.
But is this in the coastal zone?
No, this is in Comschi.
Okay, so the only chance we have for a survey is right now.
Correct.
Well, that was my next question was, does this mean that we've passed it through the Archaeological Commission so that if somebody decides to build a building in the future, they've already, whatever decision we've made, we've already ruled on it?
Right, yeah, the main thing would be for the ARC survey to identify any sites, and then they'd have to maybe a no building envelope or something like that, so no construction could happen.
So Bill's right, this is our chance.
Yeah.
Any further development on this would be ministerial, just a building permit.
If it's in the coastal zone, then any kind of ground disturbances we're gonna know about or may take a look at. But within Mendocino County in general, the only chance we have is subdivisions and, I don't know, I'm not sure what
It's
else.
got a discretionary permit, yeah.
Well, it's nice flat land with a major river going through it, so.
Commissioner Lockhart?
It's highly sensitive. When I was growing up, my father, Chief Lampea, and the elders in our community spoke a lot about Comschi. And if you recall, Philo, Boonville, that whole area, there are many sites. However, there's lack of tribal presence because everyone was herded from that area into Round Valley way back in those days. However, there is a local tribe that is petitioning for their historic background in that Comschi area. You know, that was part of it. I don't want to get into that discussion. But, so I would say, Bill, remember the time that you brought up a point that in the past, we approved this type of material before us, and then all of a sudden, bingo, there's a building and there's construction, and so when it came to us before, they said, well, you had already authorized the project. So it makes me kind of...
So we want to recommend the survey.
Yeah, so am I making sense to you? I mean...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they've summarized it, that basically if you wanted to recommend a survey, now it's the only opportunity to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so now is the time we have to put in cautionary steps.
Okay, should I have a,
I would suggest.
do I have a motion, my motion?
Motion that?
You word it for me.
So yes, I propose that we accept the recommendation of the Archaeological Survey.
Yes, definitely. That's a no-brainer.
So I have a motion to require a survey. Do I have a second?
Lockhart second.
And I'll do a roll call. Let's see. Commissioner Dick,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Affirmative?
Commissioner Lockhart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
and staff recommends approval as well, yes. Okay, we have a pretty short agenda today, so we'll move on to 3C, which is a coastal development permit 2024-0010. Date filed was 2/23/24. Thomas and Suzanne Automani are the owners, and the applicant is Catherine Haley. The agent is Mo Whiteside and Catherine Haley. The request is a standard coastal development permit to remove existing driveway, construct a new driveway encroachment, and a detached 1,041 square foot garage that includes a workshop and an exercise room. The existing driveway would be replaced with landscaping. The location of the project is in the coastal zone, 3.5 plus minus miles north of Manchester Town Center on Irish Beach Road, County Road 539, 0.12 plus minus miles west of the intersection of Irish Beach Road and State Route 1, located at 15220 Irish Beach Drive, Manchester, APN 132-050-05. And the staff, is there any public wishing to comment on this?
No members of the public, but I do see the owner and the agent online.
And Shelby Miller is the planner on this. Do you have anything to add, Shelby?
Hi, I do have some pictures I'd like to show that the applicant has provided for me. Sharing screen. Okay. So just to make note that the parcel, I'm sorry, they're glossy? Okay, anyways, so the parcel is right here, and just for an aerial footage, yes, it is right on, it is right on the, block top, and here are some photos that were provided, from the applicant. So, they own this parcel, and then they also just bought this parcel. And this is essentially where, this area will be the, you see my mouse, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thank you. This area is where, the, proposed, garage would be. And then just to give you a upfront close picture, this is where the development would be. And I just have some other ones. They will be removing these invasive species here and then just developing roughly 5 feet from the existing structure to the north. And there it is. And I'm open for questions, and the applicant is also online as well.
Any questions for Shelby Miller?
So I have kind of a couple of questions just for clarification. When was this house built and was there a survey done when that house was built?
There was not a survey when the house was built. I would say, I don't know when the house itself was built, or
And then the
the
owner has behaviors.
office.
Okay. I was just, what, if it was in the last 5 years, or was it built in 1880, you know, just for clarification.
The applicant is raising their hand, we might be able to assist in that.
Let's hear what the applicant has to say.
Hi, my name's Tom Alboni. I'm here with my wife Sue. We bought this house in 2018. I think it was built in about 1993. And want to correct one thing, well, point out that the lot that's outlined in black is actually the merged lot. Shelby mentioned that we purchased the lot. It's actually correct. That black outline are the merged lots. We bought 2 lots. We bought the lot together. Now it's the merged lot. And we didn't see the photos actually come up on the screen that we sent in, Shelby.
Oh,
Did anybody see the photos with the story poles and?
No,
You
we
didn't
just saw
see
the
them?
aerial maps. No.
No, just, yeah.
oh.
All we saw was the aerial map, it didn't change.
Oh,
To show the location of
my
where the
apologies.
proposed.
Let me share this with you. My apologies. Okay, here, there are, does that work? Do you see it now?
Yeah, we see them.
Yes.
My apologies, I am terrible at this, obviously. So this is where the, proposed development would be. They're proposing to take out some of these invasive species here. And they'll be in the, you know, this is the building height. And they'll start building 5 feet from this existing structure, to the north. Here is essentially the building, site. Okay. This picture, maybe. That's just a different side view. And let me know if you have questions.
I have a question.
Commissioner Call?
What, is it an easy slope to the beach, or is it a huge cliff?
It's a cliff.
Huh?
It is a cliff. Let me see exactly how many.
I would say it's intermediate. It doesn't just drop right off. It kind of slopes down, probably,
About a 40-degree angle.
and then it, yeah.
According to the topographic map, it looks like it's maybe about 450 feet from the the east end of the parcel to the cliff. Does that sound about right? And
East
it's a
end of the
slope.
parcel. The parcel is level to where you see that little fence in the background. That's about 80 feet perhaps from the street, not from the property, but from the street. And that starts to drop off, and it drops off pretty steeply. And it's about, from there, it's about another 300 feet to the ocean.
Yeah, the property itself is roughly 200 feet above sea level.
Is there a spring on the property?
No.
That was a permanent?
No spring.
I can show you mapping if needed. There's no wetlands or water on site. Just on the cliff side here. There we go.
There's a creek. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's not very far from the property. Does that have a name?
Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Irish Creek.
Oh, Irish.
Oh, okay. And that's about 500 feet, right? 600 feet, something like that.
More than that, probably, because there's a road on the north side of the creek, too.
Oh, okay, I see. It is. It's more like 1,500 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's roughly like 900. anymore.
I'd have a tendency to go with Northwest Information Center. And that's basically based on the shell middens on our coastal bluffs, which are important archaeological resources. And it is the Northwest Information Center does recommend surveys. That's what I would go with.
I see Catherine Haley, the applicant, has her hand raised.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi. Yes, I'm the designer on the project for Sue and Tom Ottoboni. And yeah, I guess what I wanted to indicate to everyone is that there is a very small building envelope that can be utilized for this additional detached garage. It's bounded on the west by the setback for the bluff, which is 20 feet to the west. To the north, we have the Isha setbacks that include certain floristic and habitats for the mountain beaver, the Point Arena mountain beaver. And so, and then to the east, we have a 20-foot setback from the street, and then on the south, we have a 5-foot minimum setback from the existing building. So you can see that it's a very small area compared to the lot that was merged to the north to make this project possible. So I guess my question is, how much of this, you know, I received the letter from the California Historical Resources Information System, and they speak about that they would like to that they recommend a survey, an archaeological survey, and then they talk about the possibilities of the extent of that field study. And I would just like to say that, you know, it's not possible to build beyond that particular building envelope that's shown on the site plan. So what would be the extent? I just don't want this to be undue costly if it's, or maybe I don't understand the total, you know, would they need, how much would they need to scope out, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think the concern would be the removal of the existing driveway and then creating a new driveway. And if I was going to recommend a survey, I would recommend those areas of ground disturbance for the principal aspect of the survey.
Can I just make a comment? This is Sue Ottoboni. Where we're proposing to put in the new driveway, there is already an underground electrical PG&E that was put in place when this whole area was developed. So that area has already been disturbed. We wouldn't be creating a new disturbance in that driveway area.
When was that? When did PG&E do that? They should have.
I believe it was in the 60s or 70s when all of our HVs
The development was, you know.
Yeah, that long ago, they would, even PG&E wouldn't have required anything, but today they would. So it doesn't mean that there's not something there. What I'm concerned about is shell mounts.
I see Shelby Miller has her hand up.
I just wanted to add one more thing. We did receive information regarding the parcel across the street from the proposed project site. Also received a, letter from Northwest Information Center, and they were not requested to get an additional archaeology survey. So that also could be something to think about. And they're literally right across the street from the project site, and I can show you my.
So these two driveways, what's the lineal dimensions of them?
Because she's saying that they didn't recommend a survey like that. It's flat, and then it's an easy drop onto the beach.
Yeah, the one right across the street here, I think it was, did not get a survey, but the dimensions of the driveway.
It's about 29 feet from the edge of the proposed garage to the street. So that includes the right of way, into the right of way of the Irish Beach Drive.
Yeah, 22 feet wide.
Yeah,
And it's only a
22
few feet north of the existing driveway that we would be taking out, which is covering part of the leach field for our septic system. It's right up against the leach field.
And yeah, the total of 1,041 square feet.
Shelby, it might be good if you could pull up the site plan, because it's really descriptive.
This is the dangerous part.
Could we find an original?
Just seeing your file explorer, Shelby.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
Probably just require them back then.
So that, yeah, it should be the one that's updated to show 22. Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, so this is the existing single-family residence here, and then this is where the proposed garage is.
Actually, it's much smaller. The proposed garage is only, it's not that full buildable. The building envelope is that large dashed line.
Yeah, here, let me try to draw this.
So it's very limited.
Orient. Which way's north here?
Okay.
North is to the right.
So it's like
West is to the top of the, yes. No, it's a little bit bigger than that, yeah.
terrible.
Okay, so that's the garage itself, but then there's also above that, there's, yeah. There you go. That's it. No, a little bit more. There's, see where the 5 foot minimum is there? Closer to the house. There, you want it, yeah. So there you have it. That's, and then the dotted line beyond that is the overhang of the roof. So that's
the building envelope referred to?
The building envelope is the same red area, but it extends out to, Shelby, if you could just see where Craft Workshop is. See that dotted line, the thick one? You could just extend that out. No, not that one. The one from the building itself.
Oh, this one.
And then just keep on going to the left. The left. Just straight out. See that dotted line? Yeah, you want to include that. That could be part of the building, but it's not, but it's part of the building envelope. Yeah. So that's what dictates where we can build, and it's defined by the bluff, the setback from the bluff edge, which is 20 feet, and that's to the west, and to the north is the Isha. And yeah, I've said all this, but I just want to make it clear because somebody asked about that.
Okay, so the north, you said, is not at the top of this map?
No, north is to the right.
Okay, north is to the right, and so, north, so the bluff is, yeah.
The bluff is to the west.
Okay, I got it, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Also, I had a site visit
How
recently.
far is the envelope, the building envelope to the edge of the bluff?
So I actually had a site visit with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the applicants recently. And the Department of Fish and Wildlife would like to have a deed restriction from the building envelope on west. They don't want anything to be built after where, the building envelope is currently. So that will also ensure that no other development would occur in the future, just like it has.
So to answer the question that you had, Bill, I guess, it's 20 feet, the west wall of the proposed garage is 20 feet to the bluff, and that was determined by the geotech engineering report.
Oh, right, 20 feet.
Yeah.
And how steep is that bluff?
Well, the edge from the garage to the edge of the bluff, it's basically flat, and then it starts dropping off. And I think Tom and Sue could comment more on that than me in terms of the slope. I think we talked about that earlier.
I mean, is it an easy walk down to the beach?
No.
It's
inaccessible.
Yeah.
And I would like to add that the California Fish and Wildlife indicated that she would be putting a restriction on that we have to put a symbolic fencing along the edge of the top so that people wouldn't be tempted to walk down there. And because of the mountain weavers, they don't want any traffic on that bluff. But we have never gone down there, and it's not walkable at all.
So the map that says the edge of the bluff, that's not right above the ocean. That's just the starting where it drops.
Correct.
Right.
Commissioner Lockhart, any comments?
Well, I'm thinking in terms of the fact that the original development was not under the umbrella of Archaeological Commission evaluation during those days. So with the point of the information center suggesting that due to the sensitivity and the lack of prior survey of the proposed project, that it would seem common sense to have a survey done and or at least a major discovery clause in motion.
Is that you want to make that a motion to require a survey?
Make that a motion, yes.
So I have a motion to require a survey and have a discovery clause. Do I have a second?
I'm not sure I agree with you. We can talk about this some more. Try and convince you maybe. I think since the flat area to the east of this parcel has already had a septic, electrical, graded for a driveway, that a discovery clause would cover the archaeology. And the fact that the bluff is protected for the beavers and will be partially fenced off should protect the most likely place for a shell mount to occur. So I guess I'm saying we don't need a survey. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense. Was there a plant study done for this?
Yes.
Yes.
And I wish we had that, because then we usually those studies include soils, and so if there was a shell mound there, it would have shown up in that report. And by those reports usually have the soil types and stuff like that. So maybe in the future, it would be nice to add those kinds of studies along with the information.
I just want to put my 2 cents that I agree with Commissioner Johnson too. It's already been graded, it's been, anything that is there is going to be shuffled around, so I think maybe a discovery clause will just save everything, because if they find something crazy, they have to stop. But anything that was there is probably all jumbled up at this point.
So I did have a motion to require a survey. Do I have a second?
We don't have to pass motions unilaterally completely, do we? And we can have a no? Is it like majority rules?
Yeah,
How does that work?
It would have to be a majority
I
rule.
also have.
Is there gonna be a septic system, or is it already in?
Septic's already in, there's no need to expand because it's only a garage, there won't have any other bathroom facilities or, need for septic.
So the motion fails, and no second.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes. Commissioner Cole? Commissioner Lockhart?
I would just, I'll call for a point of order that due to a lack of a second, the motion dies. And, I'm in agreement with that. Thank you.
Okay, so no study would be required because of a lack of a second on the motion. And
Discovery clause,
we would add the discovery clause as a matter of adding those to conditions of approval.
and the condition that the protection for the mountain beaver is gonna protect any shell mound that might be on the edge of the bluff.
Right.
Any previous notions need to be kept in accordance. The ODFW, all of that needs to be in place as well.
So I guess that one, we just do the discovery clause. Okay. Well, that.
Excuse me, may I? Mr. Lockhart would like to have a few moments, please.
Okay.
Thank you. According to the information of the California Historical Resources Information System, it is, we said the Archaeological Native American Resources recommend that given its sensitivity and lack of prior survey of the proposed area, we recommend that a qualified archaeologist conduct further archaeological and field study of the project area. I just would like to say that I appreciate my colleagues and the discussion that's always productive in the Archaeological Commission meetings, but I still, and I'll go along with what the majority desires, but as a tribal elder, I must tell you that I'm holding my ground.
Don't vote for it then.
And definitely a discovery clause, because again, I have to say that it concerns me that back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, this county had never really given place to our sacred sites or sensitive village sites until just recently. So anyway,
That is correct.
thank you for letting me make that statement.
Okay,
Can we get a reinstatement of the motion?
I guess there is another thing
Reinstatement of the motion.
that we can bring
Bring the
up,
motion.
and that is that usually Northwest Information Center will say that it's a sensitive area because there are sites nearby. Well, they didn't do that this time. And I don't really personally know the history of Irish speech, and I don't know how many sites there are in that community. So in a way, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't mention that there were sites nearby. And then on the other hand is that maybe this is the place that had the sites. So I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to go either way. And that's mainly because of the bluff top. When you don't usually have shell mounds when there's not easy access to the beach. So in other words, we don't normally have shell mounds where there's, you know, like a 200-foot drop off.
Plus, there's really easy access, you know, half a mile to the south along Irish Creek. I mean, it just widens out and it's a beach.
And that would be a more likely place to have a shell mound than this place. Just some additional thoughts and information for everybody.
so I would introduce a motion to not require a survey, but have the discovery clause added to the conditions of approval.
A second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Dick?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Refrain.
Commissioner Lockhart?
Yes.
And Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
And staff would say yes.
Okay.
And so that concludes the projects. Any matters from staff? No matters from staff? Are there any
Yeah,
matters?
there is. Matters from staff. So what's going on with the dissolution of the Archaeological Commission? I thought you were gonna have county councilor or somebody come and talk to us about what they're thinking about.
The planning director, Mrs. Krog was not available today. So I'll mention it again.
Okay, because I would like to say that if they do away with the commission, the county then is going to be responsible under California State AB 52. They are going to be responsible for meeting in person with tribes before and after the survey. Before the survey to decide if they want to have a survey, and after the survey to approve it. And so the way things are set up right now, our ordinance is quite convenient, and it's not going to cost, and it's not currently costing the county very much money. But then, if they do away with the Art Commission, then they're going to have extra staff to deal with the tribes and meeting them in person for consultation and meeting them again so that the tribes have a chance to say whether or not they approve of the survey. So I recommend that all of you go look up California State Assembly Bill AB 52 because I think it would cost the county a lot more money than they're paying right now.
I will forward that information to Director Krog, and I'll see what we want to do.
Okay.
Are there any other matters from the commission? Any?
Yeah, I was just going to add, the important thing right now is that the Art Commission reviews the surveys and determines their adequacy, which is important. So anyway, yeah.
Correct, I would agree.
Okay.
Commissioner Lockhart?
Thank you. Lois Lockhart speaking. I have a concern that the tribes are really, local tribes, the sovereign governments, the nations, there are 11 communities within Mendocino County. One tribe, Yopeo Rancheria, does not have a formal government as the other tribes do. Consequently, there's lack of quality information flowing from the Board of Supervisors, planning staff director, to the tribal people who need to have this information brought up or addressed at their tribal council meetings that they hold monthly, so they would understand the sensitivity of the question and the concern that Bill has, and I do too. I feel like I'm dangling from by my fingernails on one of the cliffs on the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, regarding this whole issue, actually it's lacking parliamentary procedure and disrespectful. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Any comments, Mr. Johnson?
I'm just, something like that, it's not that I disagree with the response of the tribes or the involvement with these things, it's just that how do you solve that? I mean, tribes are independent and you don't want to lay down authority on them, but at the same time, if they don't step up and organize themselves, I mean, I'm trying not to be offensive, and I'm also kind of ignorant about the whole thing, but I'm not sure that this is all a problem coming out of the county, because report after report after report show that people have tried to get responses from tribal areas and representatives, and nothing happens. And how do you organize within a community that you're not part of?
Well, it comes with education. It comes with quality communication. And according to U.S. Code 25, Mendocino County government has a responsibility, along with the tribe having their responsibility from this area, the county from this area, and you come together and you meet in a gentleman's fashion following Robert's Rules of Order and policy and procedure for a beneficial outcome. And in Mendocino County, that has been far and few between. And so it is not my responsibility. I'm not the formal voice of the tribal people, in a sense that I'm not an elected official. Again, I have to go by Robert's policy procedure, Robert's Rules of Order, and administrative policy. However, as being seated here and the Native American representative, that's why I voice my opinion, because it's being recorded, so that there's documentation as to an understanding of coming together. Thank you.
And I'd like to add, I would like to add to that too. If you look at our ordinance, the ordinance is based on protecting cultural resources, historic and prehistoric. That's the whole purpose for the Archaeological Commission. The ordinance recognizes the value of historic resources. And so if the Board of Supervisors, are they going to decide that those cultural resources are not valuable anymore? Are they giving up on the history of Mendocino County?
I lost you there, Bill.
The solution of the argument. So they're making a statement. They're making a statement that they do not.
You're breaking up pretty badly there.
Which is a sequel. So, I think we really need to rethink this rumor that they're going to get rid of the commission.
Commissioner Dick,
Sorry.
do you have comments?
no comments from me. I agree with the sentiment that it would be foolish to do, but I guess we're out there weighing that too, so.
So would this just come down as a ruling, or would we be invited to a board of supervisors meeting to argue against it?
I'm not
It would
sure.
probably be put on the agenda.
Yeah, it would have to be an agendized item. And then,
would we hear about it? Because I
Well,
don't get
they
board of
talked about
supervisors
this,
agenda.
they talked about it a while ago. There was a mention that they would close down, commissions that weren't necessary. And I don't remember all the stipulations or any of that, but, it was mentioned, before the end of the year last year.
well, if I hear anything, I will keep all of you informed, and I'll let the director know. And is there any other members of the public at the Willis Library location who wish to speak?
The museum, no one's here.
I guess, if we're all done discussing, we can make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Lockhart second.
I guess I have to do a roll call on that as well. Commissioner Dick, motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Commissioner Cole.
He's gone.
Oh,
Oh, there he is.
there you
He's back.
go. You're muted, Bill.
Wave.
Still muted.
Muted.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
There, we got it.
Commissioner Lockhart
Yes,
and Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
Staff
yes.
recommends adjourning as well.
Do you
Now we
keys
can
on
go
the
play.
floor
Yeah.
below the table? There's something on the floor.